You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. Friday, May 22nd. Thank you guys so much for joining us. TGIF. The weekend is nearly upon us. I believe it's the 22nd. I'm checking to make sure yes, it is May 22nd. My days all run together up here. TGIF. We've reached the end of the week. Hopefully you guys are ready for a great Memorial Day weekend. I'm excited for it. Got several fun things planned. Actually, my wife and most of my kids are going out of town. So my oldest and I are home for the weekend. So we're going to golf. We're going to do some fun things and enjoy the Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully you guys enjoy your Memorial Day weekend as well. And thank you for starting it, I guess. Ending your work week or starting your Memorial Day weekend with us. Either way you look at it, thank you guys so much for joining us. If you're watching us live on YouTube, thank you for doing that. Make sure you subscribe. If you have subscribed, thank you. If you have not, do so. And then tell everybody you know about what we're doing each and every weekday at 10 a.m. It's been a bunch of fun so far. Getting close to, I'm trying to figure it out, January, February, March, April, May. Getting real close to 18 months doing this show of ours. And it's been a bunch of fun. Crazy to say it's been a success, and we're really excited about what the future holds as well. If you're watching us on X, we are live on X as well. X has been very, very good to us. So thank you for watching on X. Be interactive with the show, whether it's on social media and on X or Facebook, wherever you're at. Facebook, we're also available at Facebook as well. And then the YouTube chat is always fun each and every day. So get in there, talk sports, talk questions for guests, complaints to myself, all those kind of things. We appreciate that as well. You can check out the show on the podcasting platforms as well. Each and every day, you can listen to the show. You don't have to look at me. You can listen to the show, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Podbean, wherever you get your podcast. Put in Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Subscribe there as well and listen to the show. If you're heading out of town this weekend and you want to catch up on shows from last week or this week, please do so. If you're a college basketball fan, last Thursday's show was Brad Underwood and Tate Sage. We had Zach Johnson on last week. We've had great guests this week as well. So if you're heading out and about, whether you're working out over the weekend, going for a run, which I went for a run for the first time Wednesday and then yesterday as well, and I am super slow, but got back out there. The weather's getting nicer, so if you're doing those kind of things, if you're in the yard cutting grass, listen to the show and check out what we're doing each and every day. Also, we're live on the WHO streaming app as well. We're excited about that. So all the viewers in Central Iowa, thank you guys so much for checking out the show as well. Some planning, coordinating for you. Yesterday, we were excited to tell you that today we're going to have Shauna Green on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We have to bump her to Tuesday. We're going to talk to Shauna later this afternoon, and then we'll have that interview for you on Tuesday. Something came up this morning on her end. So Shauna Green, Illinois women's basketball coach, coming your way coming out hot right after the holiday weekend on Tuesday for you. So we're excited to have Shauna on next Tuesday's show. And it should be a bunch of fun. Today's show, a lot to get to, a lot to wrap up with the busy time and the busy week it's been in the world of sports. So 3 fun guests. We have John Bohnenkamp coming up in a matter of moments. I want to talk to him about the and he's a big NASCAR fan. The tragedy yesterday with Kyle Busch passing away at the age of 41. We'll talk to him about that. We'll also talk about Iowa football and moving into the spring college football playoffs with him as well. The expansion of that, and then a little Iowa basketball at the end as well. So our good friend John Bohnenkamp coming up in a matter of moments. Also on today's show, coming up later in hour number 1, Brad Monier, a football coach at Geneseo, helps head up and run the Walnut 5K run walk for ALS. His story, his family's story is incredible. And so I want to get his thoughts on that. And then the event coming up in July 4th. It's a 5K in Walnut, Illinois, real close here to the Quad Cities. Great event. Some familiar faces running it as well. We'll talk to them all about that and get the word out because it is running season. There's so many great events that come up. You can find a different 5K each and every weekend here in the Quad Cities or the surrounding areas when it comes to the running community here in the Quad Cities and beyond. So really excited to have him on the show once again. And then if you're a old school sports fan, growing up in the area, there were so many great things that aren't there anymore. I loved K-Jock. I loved listening to sports radio each and every day growing up when I was younger. part of probably one of the biggest reasons why I got into sports and doing what I'm doing is K-Jock and sports radio. I loved reading the newspaper. I loved Nest Guest, which we brought back. We're going to bring back another feature from the newspaper today. My good friend John Marx always had columns called To the Best of My Knowledge, where he had random opinions. I don't know if you guys knew this, but John Marks, if you know him, has opinions and he lets you know what they are. So we're going to do To the Best of My Knowledge. I have some opinions. He does as well. We're going to wrap up the work week and the week here in OTA with some To the Best of My Knowledge coming up with John Marks in hour number 2 of the show as well. So I'm excited about a fun show today. A lot to get to, a lot to talk about here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. A few news and notes. We mentioned the tragic passing of Kyle Busch, 41 years old, got an illness, was racing last weekend, got an illness. That came out yesterday that he was extremely ill, and then quickly after that came word that he's passed away at the age of 41. John Bohnenkamp will talk more about that coming up. I'll be the first to admit I'm not a huge NASCAR guy, but that transcends the sport of NASCAR. And obviously, if you know anything about sports, you know who Kyle Busch is. So I don't know nothing. It's not like I don't know absolutely anything about the sport, but I'm not a huge NASCAR guy. But obviously, whether you're a big NASCAR guy or just a casual sports fan, you know who Kyle Busch is and the success that he's had. So John Bohnenkamp, as I mentioned, we'll talk more about that coming up in just a little bit as well. Some good news yesterday for a former Hawkeye, and not just a former Hawkeye, but a beloved member of the soon-to-be Super Bowl champion Detroit Lions, Jack Campbell, Captain Jack, signing a 4-year contract extension with the Detroit Lions, $81 million. He'll get $20.25 million per year, 51.5 guaranteed. He becomes one of, I think it's the second highest paid off the ball linebacker in the NFL. Of course, when it came up for 5-year extensions and opting in for your 5-year extension, not extension, but 5-year deal, the Lions chose not to opt in, and everyone went crazy. Well, if you average the linebackers off ball and then of course the edge linebackers as well, it goes to $25 million. So the Lions, knowing that they were going to eventually re-sign him and extend him, rolled the dice a little, but they save a little money this upcoming season, and Captain Jack gets paid. I will never forget the draft night, and of course it was Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, and then they went and got Sam Laporte in the second round in the first pick, and of course we're going crazy in the Randazzo household because we're Lions fans and Iowa fans, but everyone ridiculed, of course, Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell. What are you doing taking a middle linebacker? And he's literally one of the best linebackers in all of the NFL. Led the league in tackles last year, had 5 sacks, passed defenses. He's the captain of that defense, and he's a freak physically as well. He's not undersized or anything like that. He's 6'5". He runs like a gazelle. A really, really good thing. And if you're the University of Iowa, you look at this as well, and you saw Tyler Linderbaum get paid. You've seen Tristan Wirfs get paid. You've seen all of these people get paid in recent years. If you're an Iowa football fan, so good news for the Iowa football program as well. Captain Jack will be a Lion for a long, long time. I cannot wait for football season. I'm already getting cranky with Bears fans on social media and everything else. So it is going to be a really fun season. And I mean that in the best way. Like, obviously I don't like the Bears. I'm a Lions fan, but it's going to be a fascinating division. Packers are going to be good again. I think the Vikings are going to be improved. Lions are as talented as any team in the football, and the Bears got lucky last year. So we'll see if they get lucky again. So no, it'll be fun. It's always fun when rivals are good. You know, it's not fun when the Bears and Lions both stink and they're playing week 15 in a game to see who gets. It's probably better if your team loses because you get the higher draft pick. So different times, and it should be a lot of fun this fall as well. So anyways, with that being said, I do want to get to Kyle Busch and a bunch of other stuff. So we turn to the wise old owl from Burlington to talk about that. So joining us on a Friday, nothing says TJIF like my good friend John Bohnenkamp. Happy Memorial Day weekend, my friend. It's almost here, I guess.
Thank you. You know, it's always been, you know, and we talked about that off the air about what it was like. This was always a busy weekend and when I was in the newspapers and you were in TV and you had like, I was sitting there thinking about, the other day, it's like we had state track this weekend here in Burlington. We have the Snake Alley Criterium tonight and Saturday. The Bees are coming into town on Sunday and they open their season on Tuesday. And while everybody was always like, oh, it's Memorial Day weekend, it's like, oh man, I remember so many Memorial Day weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I was working 12-hour days in all three of them. And so it's a little different weekend for me this time around.
We joked that my wife has a family reunion every Memorial Day, and a lot of times it's out of town, and I've never been out of town to it because I've always been busy. It's like they already knew, like, hey, Dad's not going because there's something going on. It is weird. Like, people ask me, being out of the business, is it different, like not being up at state track and those kind of things? We would always split it up. We would always do, like, one day somebody would do Thursday, somebody would do Friday, somebody would do Saturday, which sounds crazy because you'd think you just go and stay the night. But just with Cuff, myself, kids, that kind of stuff, whoever the third person was, we always would just kind of split up. Thursday was usually my day, but still always busy this time of year. And good luck to all the athletes, state track wise, softball, baseball, the postseason starting there. Soccer's busy as well. So good luck to everybody as they get rolling. We'll be talking to a lot of high school kids over the next couple weeks right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. But you're stuck with two old guys talking sports on a Friday today. I want to start with you because I don't I want to preference this with, I'm not a NASCAR fan. I don't hate it. Right. I remember being younger, even trying to, and I knew I wanted to do this kind of stuff. And I would sit there on a Sunday and I'd watch just because I'm like, I want to be able to know everything and like be, so I know enough, if that makes any sense, but I don't know enough, if that makes a lot of sense. But NASCAR fan, racing fan, or not, yesterday's news of Kyle Busch passing away, age of 41, one of the best to ever do it, wife, family. We mentioned before we started, mellowed out a lot over the years, made amends with a lot of rivalries that he did have. Your thoughts, I guess, when you hear the news yesterday that Kyle Busch has passed away at the age of 41?
Just absolutely tragic. I mean, you mentioned that. I mean, he's won 200 plus races over the 3 series in NASCAR, and just won last weekend at Dover, won the Truck Series race. And you can't, you can't, if you're not a fan, you don't quite understand what drivers mean. And I learned this, I've been around the sport. I've been a fan since I was a kid in the 70s, as I tell everybody how old I am. I mean, you get attached to the sport, you get attached to the drivers, and, NASCAR is different than so many other sports in that from February to early November, they race almost every weekend. And so it's a traveling show. It's, the same teams, the same drivers, the families, they all get to know each other. And, in a lot of ways, it's like that at the local level too. I remember, a few years ago here back when Brent Slocum, who's a late model driver, died, and the outpouring of emotion, because everybody knows everybody. You may not like everybody, but you know everybody. And so for that news to come out yesterday, I was shocked. And I mean, there was the news that come out that morning that he'd been hospitalized with a severe illness, they called it. He had been sick a couple weeks earlier at the end of the race at Watkins Glen. So I don't know if that has something to do with this. Then, there were some rumors last night of where he fell ill and that sort of thing. But I'm still shocked. And, because he was one of the best to ever do it. And I know he's struggled over the last couple of years. And I listened to the NASCAR channel on Sirius XM a lot. And there were you would get discussions on what's wrong with Kyle Busch. Is he ever going to win again? Is he going to stay at Richard Childress Racing? And he's been a topic of conversation even when he's not winning. And so when you have an impact on a sport like that, it's when something like this happens, it's just heartbreaking. Absolutely. And it bothered me the whole day yesterday. It was, even after the news, it was just, wasn't a big fan of his, but I respected the hell out of him. And you saw how, and so, drivers like to become, every sport has villains, and NASCAR has its villains. And when you race for that long, I think you got to get tired of being the villain. And,
Sure.
and you get older and you mature and you have family and that sort of thing. And so I think he had mellowed a lot over the last few years. And people started to, people had a lot of respect for him. And I think some people started to like him. It's like, okay, he's an older guy hanging on and he's won a lot of races. We want to see him go out with another win and that sort of thing. And
Yeah.
so, it was just a heartbreaking day yesterday. And reading the stuff online this morning, it was a heartbreaking morning. So.
Yeah, and you look at it too, and again, like I take the NASCAR out of it because I'm not a huge NASCAR fan. I understand it.
Right.
I know the history. I know the resume, if you will. But like I saw the video of him just I think last weekend throwing his little girl up and down in the air after winning the race, and it's just like what happened between that and today or yesterday, I should say, is heartbreaking. So thoughts and prayers and all of those kind of things. The weird transition from NASCAR and death to other sports. But I want to bring up with you, I'm obviously a biased Lions fan, but I'm an Iowa guy as well. And I loved covering Jack Campbell. I was one of those guys that back in 4 years ago, when he got drafted 18th overall, and every national pundit was laughing at the Lions draft, and a lot of it was Jahmyr Gibbs at 12, but it was also the fact that a middle linebacker went at 18. I was thrilled, and I wasn't just biased because he looked different. He wasn't, and I'm not making fun of my good friend Pat Anger here, but like he's a middle linebacker, but he's 6'5", and he runs like a gazelle, and I'm like this guy, I mean, he's just different in that league, and I love the fit and everything. Anyways, he signs a 4-year contract extension, gets $81 million. Everybody who knows Jack Campbell, he probably didn't need all $80 million at all. He's probably putting it all in the bank. He's a very down-to-earth guy. But your thoughts covering Iowa, covering Jack Campbell, seeing one of the good guys in football getting paid yesterday by the Lions?
Well, they always talk about in the NFL, it's always about getting the second contract. Everybody that gets drafted gets that first contract, and it's like, and it's always 3 years, and it's the goal is always get the second contract because that's where you're going to make your money, and he's done that. My favorite, I love telling this story because it just shows how people like to spout off without knowledge, and it was at the Music City Bowl, and they were playing Kentucky, and there was some guy sitting down the row from me, some draft expert that had gotten a credential. And I heard him say, Jack Campbell's going to be a bust in the NFL draft because he's really not that athletic. And within a play of that guy saying that, he rips through the line and chases down Kentucky's quarterback who had scrambled out and who I can't remember who the guy was because I remember that year they had used some different guys because everybody had sat out, and whoever this guy was really athletic, and Jack chased him down. And so I tweeted that out, and that this guy didn't identify the guy, just somebody said that, and just the next play Jack Campbell, well, it starts going viral, the tweet does. The guy who must have been following somebody I knew that retweeted it. And he's like, who in the hell just retweeted what I said about Jack Campbell? And I didn't say anything. I didn't want to get into an argument. But I mean, he was one of those, like young people, and as I sound like an old dude, but he's one of those guys that he knew. I was listening to him the whole game, and he knew everything. Jack Campbell, he's not going to be that good. He's going to be a draft bust, because they were, at the time, they were talking about him being a
late
first round, second round. And they were talking about him, and then all of a sudden he just roars through, and he had a hell of a game that day. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's why you don't have to have a hot take on everything because you don't know what you're talking about. So but yeah, I thought that's one of my favorite moments of his career.
It's awesome because one, and I'm a Lions fan. I watch every single game, probably multiple times. I watch games during the off season. I am to the Lions what maybe you are to the Dodgers, which we're not talking about the Dodgers today.
Okay.
And I've just watched him get so much better, and he was good as a rookie, but you had to get better and get used to the league and the speed and stuff. And he's really good. Also, we want to point out that Tristan Wirfs is one of the highest paid offensive linemen in the game. Help me with the center that just signed. Oh my goodness, Tyler Linderbaum is the highest paid center in the game from the University of Iowa. Jack Campbell is now the second highest paid off-ball linebacker in the game of football. Tight end wise, Kittle makes a ton of money. Laporta's going to about ready to make a bunch of money. Like it's really cool for the University of Iowa to kind of show like, hey, we come here, develop, and go make a boatload of money on Sundays. So it's a good thing for Iowa football as well. Let's stay with football. Yeah. We'll go with, I think we're going to go locally first with the Iowa football team itself. Spring ball's done. I picked the brains of so many of the media. Not that I think you guys share a brain most of the time. I'm kidding. But, so if you have it today, if it's your turn with the brain today, Kaker gave it up for the day. Your thoughts on, I'm obviously through spring into the summer and fall, everybody's going to be talking about quarterback. We'll talk about quarterback. Right. What is your thoughts? What did you see? I know it's 50-50. Everybody knows it's 50-50. It's a coin flip, but what did John Bohnenkamp see? What are his thoughts as we get ready for the fall?
It's not so much what you see, because you always have those guys in the spring, they're going to be great. And then you never hear from them again. To me, it was what the coaches were saying. And I just, when it comes to the quarterbacks, I don't think they know. I mean, because again, everybody saw the open practice, but those guys saw the other 14. So the fact that they don't even have an idea at this point says to me, this is going to go into August and it's going to be won in August. Maybe somebody gets a foot up, during the summer with the workouts they do. But for the most part, it's going to go into the summer, and it's going to go into, we're not going to know really until that week, the week of. And I think he's got good choices. They all have their strengths, or they both are different kind of quarterbacks. So it's just going to be kind of what they see that makes them, make that decision. But to me, they don't know yet. And, you can break down what you saw on that Saturday scrimmage, but they saw the other 14, and I just don't think they know right now.
Yeah. You look at it too, and it's a fascinating competition, because it's not two guys that look the same, act the same, throw the same. I mean, it is, and kind of talk to that, John, because you got this Drew Tate-ish type kid who's a little smaller, more mobile. From everybody that says anything to me, likes to, a gunslinger is the word that's used a lot when it comes to Klinsky. And then Hank Brown is that, 6'4", 6'5", drop back, big arm. I think people saw the two things that I find telling is not telling, but the two things that I think people form decisions about right now with, and they didn't watch spring practice maybe as much, but one, it was the little part of the game that Hank Brown got in against Indiana last year. And we can argue till, who knows, but probably completes a screen pass to Kamari Moulton, and maybe the whole landscape of college football is a little bit different last year. But that's one play. And then also we know throughout the season, and we get two deeps, throughout the season and after the bye week, Hecklinski was the backup, and Hank Brown became the third string. I guess the contrast in styles, your thoughts on that, because it's not like, they got to choose between two similar products. They're a little different, aren't they?
Right. And exactly. And it becomes, in Tim Lester's case, because I think he has a really big say in this. Ultimately, it's Kirk's say. But I think, Tim Lester has a really big say in this. And it's just going to be, what's the guy that I think can do what I want to do? In Kirk's case, it's going to be, who's not going to screw up, and it's because Kirk is very adamant when it comes to his quarterback that whoever it is has got to manage the game and not throw a lot of interceptions and not fumble the ball and that sort of thing. So that's going to be I think there's a contrast in styles, but there's also going to be a contrast, I think, in the decision-making process. And I think it's just going to come down to, again, who they see during August that doesn't make the mistakes, that commands the offense and who can kind of run everything. The styles they can work with, I think either way. We've seen that over Kirk's career. You think back, you brought up Drew Tate and that sort of thing. It's just going to be a matter.
John Bohnenkamp joining us right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. When you look at college football as a whole, there's a lot of talk right now of the expansion of the college football playoff. I looked at it when it went to 12. I loved it. 24 is now what's being talked about. On the outside looking in, I don't hate it. But I know there's more to it than what I'm looking at, and I haven't really, I don't think, studied it enough. I got a few articles I plan on reading here over the weekend and stuff. Your thoughts, I guess, on college football expanding those playoffs. It seems like 24 seems inevitable, but your thoughts.
I'm afraid it is inevitable, and it's just like the 76 was inevitable for the men's and women's basketball tournaments. I don't, I would just like to go 1 week without talking. When I say talking, I mean listening to all the media conversation about the playoff. Now, I'd like for 1 week this summer to not talk about college football with people, online, seeing all that. I would just like it, but it just kind of keeps feeding on itself. And and it didn't help that you had the Big Ten meetings this week and you had the SEC meetings and that sort of thing. I don't know. I think it's going to that. And I think they're going to try to come up with some sort of bowl system. I know the FCS playoffs are 24. And it works. Their playoff system works. It's always worked. But TV isn't involved. The politics of conferences aren't involved. It's just a playoff. It's here. These are our best 24 teams, the conference champions, and I worry that it's going to be, you're going to have 24 teams, but you're going to be leaving out some really good, that group of 6 teams, because you're going to cram in an 8-4
Iowa,
LSU or whoever. Or something like that. And that's what it's going to be, rather than let's give it a bid to every conference champion, which is what the FCS does. And that still leaves you with 12 or 13 at large, whatever. And it's just, like I said, if it was run the way an NCAA playoff would be run, I think it might be entertaining. What it's going to be run is what TV wants.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, whatever it's going to be, it is a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And and I do think TV is driving this. I think Fox is driving this, because I think Fox is scared. There was, not to go into the whole business thing, but there was a story this week that they may, at some point here in the next couple of years, lose the NFL package just because they don't have the money for it. So do they say, okay, we're not going to get the NFL, let's just take over college football? Especially if ESPN and Disney go all in on the NFL. So I think that's going to drive a lot of this as well, is what the TV money is going to be, and who's going to want this. And so I just think it's, at the end of the day, when the 24 team playoff comes, we'll live with it, and then there'll be exciting games, and we'll forget all about it. But I think it's coming.
I think you hit on it, right, John? Because you're like, I wish we could go a week without talking about it, but that's, I think, why we're talking about it, is because everybody's. It goes down to money. It's the same thing as the NCAA tournament being like, yes, like at first when I hear 76 teams, I'm like, that's so dumb. Why would you expand? It's still 64 teams. It's just by that Thursday, as long as by that Thursday morning at 11 o'clock, when I'm sitting there with my 5 TVs going, ready to watch basketball, as long as there's 64 teams at that point, I don't care how you get to it. I will say this, we know the bowl system's already gone down as much as what it has. And then you start, you take, besides the Iowas and a few other teams of the world that care about that extra game in that bowl game. If you don't make the postseason, how many kids really are like, forget this, I'm not dealing with this, I'm not worried about it. It becomes the NIT almost. If you don't make the postseason, then the bowls really do become the NIT. And some people argue that maybe already are the NIT. So I get that as well. But again, think bottom line for me and probably yourself too, is it's going to be decided upon because of money. And that's like, I said the same thing with the basketball for the NCAA. the NFL is at 17 games. It was at 16 games. It's probably going to be 18 games. Like, there's a reason. Things that are successful and make money, you want more of, not less of. And I think that's what college football is: successful, money, and money driven. So I think the more we do that, the more we're going to see those kind of things happen. I don't trust anything happens right now, John. I really just don't. I feel like when it comes to college sports, it's just nothing will surprise me. You hear some, like in the 5-for-5 thing might be a great thing, or 5 in 5 might end up being a great thing. But like, you hear a concept and you're like, oh, they're not going to do that. And then you look and oh, they're actually going to do that. So nothing will surprise me when it comes to college sports. Before I let you go, we had Tate Sage on the show last Thursday. And if you missed it, anybody missed it, Brad Underwood, Tate Sage, same show. If you like college hoops, go back and watch last Thursday's show. But Tate, I asked him, stock up, stock down. Like, give me somebody stock up, not down, but who are you wanting to buy stock in on your team? And he said Trevin Urach is the guy and I've heard it from a couple other guys around the program too, that Trevin Urach's playing well. And then you look at the 2 4-star kids coming in. You look at the 2 transfers coming in. You look at Trey Thompson, who didn't play last year, but everybody's super high on coming in. And then the guys you got coming back. There's a lot of there's like 10 or 11 or 12 kids that can play. I say kids because we're old, John, playing college basketball, or playing Friday. Give me a starting 5 next year, as we on Memorial Day. Of course, on Memorial Day, Friday. So way away from the season starting, but here on May 22nd, what would be your starting 5 for the University of Iowa next year?
Well, first of all, I will say, I as much as I want a week without college football, I can talk college basketball all summer because that's my favorite. That is going to be the interesting thing, and people. There are a lot of people, because you always see these teams that were going to get 4 or 5 guys in the portal, and Iowa got 2. And everybody's like, oh, you didn't do about the portal. He had a lot of guys coming back, and it's like you're getting guys that are now going to be better. Trevin Urach going to be better. Cooper Koch, who is really good, is going to be better. So it's like you had a lot of guys on that bench that are going to be better, I think. And so I'd be hard pressed. I mean, I do think both guys they brought in transfer portal, I think they both start, because I think that's why I don't think you bring them in and bring them off the bench. And then I think that moves, you've got the big 7-3 guy, and then now you move Cam Mannion to a different spot. Those are your 3, and then it just becomes, and Cooper Koch is there, so I think that's 4. Then it just becomes who you want in there as your 5th starter. Mm-hmm. And he has so many options, I think, in that category. And again, it's going to be how those guys play in the summer. Again, it's going to be what he sees, but he has so many choices. I think this is going to be a really, really good team. What's interesting about him is he's got all these choices, but he's one of these guys that only likes to play 8 or 9. Mm-hmm. And so it's going to be kind of that 8th and 9th guy might be somebody that doesn't play early on. And it's just going to be, okay, I'm going to try this guy because I trust him now. He has his circle of trust. Ben McCollum's circle of trust is not that big sometimes. Mm-hmm. And so it'll really be interesting, but he has so many options right now. And I want to see how Trey Thompson takes that step from redshirt to freshman. And you want to see, I mean, that's the thing that I think is going to be really interesting, is just to see who takes that step from A to B. Mm. Because that's going to be the difference in them being a 7 or 8 seed like they were this year to maybe being a 4 or 5. Yeah. If they do everything right.
I look at Tate and Coop are 2 guys that just, I mean, the sky's the limit on that. And talking with Tate, like, I think the intriguing thing is he was a point guard in high school and he wants the ball in his hand more. I think he's excited to show that. So I will agree with you though, John. One, he plays 8, maybe 9 guys, and there's 12. I'm trying to do math in my head. 11 guys, 12 guys that probably plan on playing and want to play, which is good, but is also the bad part of college basketball, because there's going to be 2 or 3 guys at the end of the season that didn't play a lot that's going to say, wait, am I going to get my shot next season, or am I going to do what everybody else does in college basketball and hit the portal and find some place you can play right away? So that's one part of it. 2 is the trust factor is so true with Ben. And remember last year we all sat there going like, when's he going to start Tate? When's he going to start Alvaro?
Yeah.
Because like we need offense and he relies a lot on trust. So I think a lot of people look and say like, well, Cam Manuel will be great off the bench as a 4 or 5 and maybe Cale Combs might be. I don't think it's
right.
like bird in hand with Ben. I mean, those guys have done the journey with him. They've been there with him from the jump.
Yeah.
There's going to be a couple guys that are just going to be there because he loves what he gets with familiarity. And so it's going to be fascinating. I think it's going to be a really good season.
It's going to push guys to be good because there is a lot of options there. As they say, the bench is a great motivator. And, there are going to be guys that if they don't play well, and you saw that sometimes with some of his rotations during the year, when Alvaro wasn't playing well, Alvaro wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
And no matter what he might bring you and no matter what he might do, he knew when Alvaro wasn't there.
Yep.
And so at the end of the game, people would be crabbing about it. It's like, I would just say this. I know a lot of people like to crab on social media about guys and all that. Ben McCollum knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And his decisions are always, I don't remember too many last year that didn't work. And so if somebody's not playing, there's a reason why they're not playing.
Yeah.
And it's,
absolutely.
because he knows what he's doing. So.
John, I've enjoyed the heck out of this. I will say and remind people, the Tate Sage interview is up a couple days ago. Also, Tate Sage, Cooper Koch, and a couple other Hawkeyes will be teeing it up at the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing. And we have one spot, I think, still left. So if anybody's out there who wants to golf, go to GuyRandazzoGolf.com. We'll see a bunch of familiar faces. It should be a bunch of fun on June 20th, Father's Day, Saturday. John, enjoy your Memorial Day. Don't work too hard. We'll do this again real soon.
Oh, I will. I've been doing something. So
I love it.
It's going to be a busy weekend. So.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you. Take care.
Yep. Have a good one.
Awesome. That is John Bohnenkamp, one of the best in the business. And it's been too long since we've had John on the show. So I had a potpourri, if you will, of stuff I wanted to talk to John about today. And of course, he did a great job chatting about it as well. We got a little more to get to. You're watching a Friday edition of OTA. We'll be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Update with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. Of course, weekends around the Quad Cities during the summer, spring, this time of year get extremely busy. Of course, it's Memorial Day this weekend. A lot of people have a lot of plans. The weekends get full and busy with so many great things around our area. And one of the things I love about them is there's a 5K almost every weekend. I remember when my now 8th grader was younger, we made an agreement that we were going to do a different 5K each month during the spring and summer into the fall. We don't run in the cold. We don't do that. So a lot of great ones out there. And I want to talk about one of them today that's coming up in July 4th. It's the Walnut 5K run walk for ALS. And joining us now to talk more about it is our good friend Brad Monier. Brad, thanks for doing this again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Matt, thanks for having me, and thanks for helping us spread the word.
I don't know if I noticed this before we talked, but the bear flag over your head is going to be a struggle for me, Brad. But I'll let it
I think we
slide.
got a helmet back there too, I think.
Well, that's not. We won't point out the negative. Obviously,
Bears Lions Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, I know it. It either is going to be the best Thanksgiving ever, or it's going to ruin my Thanksgiving once again. Enough football though. The Walnut 5K run walk for ALS is coming up on July 4th. I know it's a great event. It's a cause that's near and dear to you. Before we talk about the cause and ALS and why it's so important for you, tell us about the event and what people in a great small town of Walnut can come out and enjoy.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's an annual event that my siblings and I have been co-race directors for now since 2021. Obviously for ALS, with all proceeds going to ALS research. Small town of Walnut, awesome festivities all weekend. The weekend's full of stuff throughout, and we think our event that Saturday morning is at 8 o'clock is one of the highlights of the weekend.
No, it's fun because especially the smaller towns, they just do it better. They do it different. But obviously, we mentioned for ALS, it's an important cause for yourself, your family, and the community out there as well. Explain to us a little bit more about the cause and why ALS has affected you and your family so much.
Yeah, well, in 2011, the event turned over, and then the proceeds started going to ALS research by the previous race director, Julie Von Holten, who did an amazing job. And then in 2021, she was kind of looking to step down and kind of maybe retire from it. So she reached out to my siblings and I, asking if we'd be interested, so the proceeds could continue to go to ALS research. Because if someone else came in, they could have maybe chose a different cause for the proceeds to go to. My family and several families in Walnut have unfortunately been affected by ALS. So that was our drive, that was our motivator, and that's why we wanted to step up and continue the cause for researching ALS. It's
a disease and it's affected so many people. Obviously, when they think of ALS, a lot of people think of Lou Gehrig, the great Major League Baseball player. He passed away in 1941, and the awareness of it and the research of it is something that's super important to this day. It's affected your family. You mentioned. Can you talk to us about your family's story and how much it's affected your family?
Yeah, well, it's near and dear to us. My family has familial ALS, so ALS and Lou Gehrig's disease, those are kind of used interchangeably. In ALS, there's 90% of the cases are sporadic, so there's not really rhyme or reason that they know of, but 10% of ALS cases are a familial ALS, so it's passed down genetically, and if someone has it and is carrying the gene, then there's a 50-50 chance that it'll be spread to offspring. For us, my family, we've lost over 22 members in our family because of that familial ALS and no research yet, and each kid having 50-50 chance of carrying it from a parent. And unfortunately, my mom was taken by the disease. We've lost my grandpa, my mom, and then two of my uncles. So yeah, it hit us hard, and not only us, but too many other families in the small local community. But the blessing is a lot of people have put their arms around us in the event and have rallied around it, and we're all on the same page with the mission of trying to end ALS.
I know that, and you mentioned your siblings and you have taken over the event and do a great job running it. Obviously, people that are listening are wondering, so it's familial. What are the diagnoses for yourself, your other siblings, as they get ready to raise money for a great cause?
Yeah, well, with the familial ALS, I can now genetically be tested. So my siblings and I, we all have actually been genetically tested. My older sister and I, we are not carrying the gene, but I have a younger brother, younger sister that I found out that they are carrying the gene, but the disease has not been triggered. But our motivation is to help fund research, and both my younger siblings are part of research studies in Miami, and there's other ones going on around the world, and there's a lot of momentum, there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of belief, and because of events like ours and because of the support from so many people that we get, they're making real strides in the ALS research world. And I just want to additionally add, speaking of bad luck and bad odds, I also had an uncle that recently passed away from sporadic ALS that was actually married to my aunt.
Oh,
so my aunt is on the familial ALS side, and then my uncle that married into it had the sporadic ALS. So a lot of motivation, a lot of drive to continue to support this.
You mentioned it's known as Lou Gehrig's disease or ALS, and we mentioned I think 1941 is when Lou Gehrig passed away, and that's, I mean, we're going on a century. Talk about the developments that we have seen, and obviously nothing's fast enough, nothing's quick enough, but if with the money being raised and the research being done, what are they finding? What are they seeing? Is there advancements and help starting to come?
Yeah, and I'm not the science guy, so apologize for that. But with the research and stuff going on, they're making really meaningful strides with drug advancements and clinical studies, and they're seeing positive results. They've launched a collaboration recently where multiple doctors from around the world, multiple agencies, they can now share data. So that's really helping spark some real momentum as we continue to push for more progress to hopefully find a cure here sooner than later.
No one expects you to sound too smart. You have that bear flag over your head, so we expect what we expect. But that was very well said. Talk about today, the event. Obviously, it's run walk. That's very important because there's some people that want to get out there, run, get moving, and I care about that time. I just told you before we started, my times are getting slower and slower, Brad. So there's a walk part of it as well. Tell us about the event and all the things that they can do to get ready for it. Registration, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and before I forget, I want to say a common phrase in the ALS world is it's not an uncurable disease. You've mentioned 1941, a century about. Yeah. So why is there no cure? It's not uncurable. It's just been an underfunded disease. So now the funds coming in, they're getting closer and closer, hopefully. I love that. Matt, don't kid yourself. You're saying your times are getting slower. I don't know if they're ever fast to begin with.
That's true.
But for our event, yeah.
So
last year we had... Sorry.
Hey, my bear jokes at your expense are funny. The slow jokes at mine, that's just me. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead. Well done.
Got to take a shot while I can. No, our event, over 800 participants. So yeah, there's serious runners out there that are blazing the course, and then there's the casual joggers, there's walkers, there's people pushing strollers, there's actual ALS patients out there in wheelchairs, motorized, or being pushed themselves. So don't feel like you have to be a Matt Randazzo type sprinter and being out there setting records. We welcome anyone and everyone. There's an online link where people can sign up. You can even sign up just for a t-shirt, so you don't even have to walk or run. You can just sign up and get the shirt. We're very fortunate. Country of Financial, the Hansen agency, a lifelong friend of mine, Tyler Hansen, sponsors our t-shirts every year. So thank you, Tyler. Definitely helps take a big swing at ALS with him donating those every year. But there's also a link where you can just donate. And even if you aren't participating or if you're not going to donate, just liking us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, spreading the word, because maybe you do catch someone that is interested or will make a donation, and every little bit helps.
I love 5Ks, and we talked about this a little bit when we started. The smaller the community, I feel like the more special they are. If that makes any sense, and kind of talk about Walnut that day, because it's a small town, 8 o'clock in the morning, sun is up. There's something about that resonates to me, and I think a lot of people. It does have, the more people the merrier. We want as many people as possible, but it has that small town vibe to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, obviously be a little bit biased here, but there's definitely a buzz in the air with the holiday, the event. Everyone from Walnut comes down. Like I mentioned earlier, there's stuff going on in the park district all over. So the people that even aren't running or walking, there's people there watching, cheering you on. We got the music. People come out and line the streets. So throughout our course, you're getting cheered and supported for. And I know we've mentioned the last 3 years we set records each year, and I think and believe a big part of that is once people come, they're hooked, they love it, they give us positive feedback, and they keep coming back, and they bring friends or family with them too, and I think that's why it keeps growing the way it is.
You look at it, the Walnut celebration weekend is just obviously that event, but there's a lot more to it. Pancake breakfast, 3-on-3 basketball tournament. I should jump into that. Bags tournament. I would dominate that as well. Kind of talk about the fireworks at night. Obviously, it's 4th of July. Talk about the weekend as a whole, because obviously the race is important to yourself, your family, to a lot of people. But it sounds like a great weekend in the town of Walnut.
Yeah, I think there's a few things going on starting Thursday night even, but definitely a lot of stuff starts Friday night. You mentioned some of the activities going on, parades, sand volleyball. Sunday there's food vendors and things going on, beer garden each of the nights. And then Walnut's fireworks are on Sunday night that evening. The Park District does open up the showers, so people that come to the race and want to spend the day, they're welcome to go up there and shower and freshen up to enjoy the rest of what Walnut has to offer that weekend.
I love it because we were talking before we started. I mean, this thing's a celebrity-packed event. When you got the likes of the handsome Nick Welch and Anthony Rome, you got like a fourth of the Western Big Six football coaches racing down the streets. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, no, so Anthony was at Geneseo when I first started, so started growing a relationship then, and then went to Augie where I went to, so continue to grow. And then when he came back and coached here for a while, know him and his family very well. And then Nick Welch I've gotten to know over the years. He's an Augie guy too. My younger sister Hillary was actually a trainer at Augie when Nick Welch was there. So I think that was probably the reason why he came out to help support the cause. And Roman Welch, they probably maybe had a little friendly competition last year, but I don't know how friendly it would be this year if they're both out there.
I gotta find out who, and you know the answer, so you gotta tell us, is who won the competition. Did Rome beat Nick? Did Nick get the win?
Who's your guess? Who would you pick?
I feel like I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna qualify it. I'm gonna say Nick because he whines a lot. So if I don't say Nick, he's gonna be like, "Come on, man! You didn't think." He gets cranky about coverage. He gets all that kind of stuff. Love him, but love you, Nick. So I'm gonna say Nick, but I'm kind of in the back of my head hoping that Anthony got him.
Anthony is a pretty high finisher every year, top 10. He runs at a pretty fast clip. New job. He's now a dad of 3. Maybe Welch can close the gap, but you talk about Nick being a whiner. We have drones above the race following everyone. Well, we had a specific drone last year just to make sure Nick wasn't cutting any corners or anything like that through the course. So we'll see if Welch can close the gap or maybe pass up Rome this year.
Careful with, you said Nick is a whiner. I probably did say that, but I'm going to catch so much crap for this interview, which that's okay. I'm here for it. They had a United Township football outing last weekend. Didn't even invite me. So with that being said, I think I got to get out there this year, Brad. I think I don't want to compete with those guys. I'm old enough to be their dad, probably. They're so young and in shape, and I'm just an old guy. But I'm going to try to get myself and a couple of my kids out there this year and partake in it. It sounds like a ton of fun as well. Again, is there a website? I'll get everything out on my social media as well. But is there a website? And obviously registrations are open now. I know when you start looking ahead, July 4th seems like a long time away, but it's 6 weeks from tomorrow. If that makes it, if anyone wants to know how quickly it's coming, it's 6 weeks from tomorrow, and it'll be the 4th of July. So how do people get signed up before we let you get out of here?
Yeah, got a link that you can just click on, go to, sign up, and/or donate. We also have PDF entries out there that has a QR code, so you could actually print and send the old school through the mail if you want. But if you see that flyer, you could also use your phone, QR code it, and that will take you to the link as well. The t-shirt deadline, I think maybe you mentioned, is June 29th. But people can sign up after that. You're just not guaranteed the shirt. And even the morning of, people show up and register that morning, welcoming anyone with open arms, and the more the merrier.
Before you go, and you're a Geneseo guy, furlongs out there? Where's Morrissey? Is he shaving his legs on 4th of July morning, or like getting a pedicure or something? He can't come out there and join us? Let's call some of these guys out.
Maybe turn it into like a West Six banquet here, tip off or something. Yeah, tie it together.
Okay, so the
Sterling's
challenge is
not that-
out there.
Sterling's not that far away. I don't know if Schlimmer would come on down.
Schlemmer's strides probably aren't that great, being a smaller guy, but I'm sure he'll eventually. Like, I mean, you know that Schlemmer beats Geneseo and everything. It seems like, is that too much? Was that a little too cold? Was that...
The most recent fall, I don't know. That wasn't the result of this most recent fall.
That's
but,
true.
Definitely a fun rivalry. Sure.
That's true. That's true. Well, all the Western Big Six coaches, I like giving a hard time. A lot of them partake in my dad's golf outing coming up. Morrissey's a big timer. He doesn't come out to the golf outing, so we'll keep badgering him. But we'll get a bunch of people out there. Almost 827, I think, entries last year. Let's get this thing to 1,000. Yep. Let's get this thing to 1,000.
Yeah, knock on the door. Let's get it.
Yeah, we'll put it out on all our social media as well. We'll keep bugging everybody about it. Brad, I appreciate it. You're doing great things with the event. Best of luck with the junior high track today coming up on a Friday. And sounds like
Friday, Saturday.
And sounds like you're gonna get some green hair here real soon.
Yeah, kids overachieved and met a goal, and I have to actually blame our shot put coach, another football coach, Babcock, struck a deal with the kids. They didn't meet his goal. They met the discus goal. So, yeah, I have green hair coming in the morning.
I love it. I love it. Well, Brad, I appreciate your time as always. We'll get everybody out there. I'm going to try my damnedest to get out there as well. And we'll talk to you again here real soon. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, and appreciate you, the celebrity that you are. And maybe that's the reason why our numbers keep growing each and every year. But truly, Matt, thank you for your support.
I love helping. I won't embrace the celebrity thing, but love helping. Anything we can do, let us know. Thanks, Brad.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. That is Brad Monier. Great cause once again, and a great event. I got to get my little cheat sheet up here so I make sure I say it all. It's like that. I'm a big office guy. It's like the run walk, like the big long one that had Michael Scott for a cure. This isn't nearly as bad. Or not bad at all. It's the Walnut 5K run walk for ALS. It's coming up on July 4th, 4th of July, 8 a.m., beautiful town of Walnut, Illinois, not far away at all. It's a perfect little trip to get out there and help us out and help raise money for a great cause. You're watching OTA on a Friday. We got much more right after this. For over 65 years, Lindquist Ford has proudly served the Quad Cities, and they're just getting started. Looking for a new ride? Check out a healthy mix of new and quality pre-owned vehicles ready for you. Need service? Skip the waiting room. With free pickup and delivery and mobile service, they come to you. No delays, no hassle. From routine maintenance to a full-service collision repair shop, it's fast, friendly, reliable, and always transparent. Lindquist Ford, serving the Quad Cities since 1959. Experience the difference today.
All right, Crawford guys, we need to come up with a new ad campaign. Let's hear what you got.
Oh, let's make a new TV commercial. No, we need a viral video.
I think my face would look good on a billboard. Come on, what?
Right. We need your head to be bigger.
For heating and air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical, count on the experts at Crawford Company.
Like me, the Crawford lady.
And me, the Crawford guy.
Ugh, you've got to be kidding.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
This summer, light the fuse on something bigger than fireworks. It's red, white, and you at the John Deere Classic. July 1st through 5th with world-class golf and 4th of July energy you can feel. Wednesday is Youth Day and kids 15 and under get in free with a paid adult. After golf, concerts on the course rocks the weekend. Carrie Underwood, headlines, and All-American 4th of July celebration. And Old Dominion closes out Sunday. Stars, stripes, summer tradition. Get tickets now before they're gone at johndeereclassic.com.
Welcome back to Off There with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. A lot of times we talk with our good friend John Marx on a Monday. It's Friday, and I wanted to do something that I really enjoyed reading growing up. Johnny joins us right now on OTA. Johnny, you know I brought back Nest Gas single-handedly. Yes. Revived the legendary. No, I'm not single-handedly, but Nest Gas and I, and it was a great part. And I say all the time on the show that like I grew up listening to sports radio. I want this show almost to be like sports radio. This is the old side of me, but there was a lot of good things about the past when it comes to sports and traditions here in the Quad Cities and media in the Quad Cities. One thing that you used to do, and I was part of several times, unfortunately, good and bad. One of the columns you always did was I don't know if it was weekly, but it was often, to the best of my knowledge. And I don't know if people know this, but John Mark is opinionated. Fair? Fair?
No. Well, that's a fact. Yes.
So, and you'd have opinions, you'd have thoughts, you'd have random things that it was bullet points. I mean, and full disclosure, one time I took a young Charlie, which I'm talking 5 years old. So he's probably 10, 11 years ago. We went over to swim at Uncle Johnny's, and I jumped into the pool with my phone in my pocket. And then I did it like the next weekend at a wedding, and you found out about it. And of course, there's a little blurb in the paper. You didn't call me out by name, but there was a sportscaster in the Quad Cities that needs to learn to not jump into pool, whatever it was. So
Tom Cornell wasn't swimming at my house.
Yeah, so. No. Well, Tom wears a thong. You can't keep that. Yeah. You can't keep a phone in that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, the Speedo. That doesn't. That's sick. With all that said, I love them, and I said to myself, I'm like, why don't we do that again? So, and I'm not to your level, but I have an opinion or two along the way. So I came up with 4 little things. And you did as well. We'll go back and forth. So, to the best of your knowledge, John Marks, go on. This floor is yours.
Pete Crow Armstrong is a baby.
Thank God you said baby. I thought you were going to say another B word.
I know. It's and I know you can get away with it in your setting, but I just can't bring myself to do that, having done radio and television all these years. As gifted a player as there is in a game, maybe I told you I hate the Cubs. You've known that for 100 years. Yeah. I love Nico Horner. He's my favorite player in baseball. I just love I think he's the best player in that team. He's being compensated. Pete Crow Armstrong has every tool imaginable, and he thinks it's got to be cool to talk crap with people. Shut up and play. And you turned a routine, mind you, ground ball to field and throw the ball at second base into an inside the park Little League single and a 3-base error home run. That's your fault. Don't say it's laughable. Shut up, play, and be as good as you can. Quit trying to yank the ball and bunt a couple times and start stealing bases. You are a gifted dude. Shut up.
Yeah. No, I mean, when you look at it, and I hate to not argue with you, and I'm a Cub fan, and I love his talent. But even I got a couple of boys of mine that the other day were kind of rolling their eyes, like, hey, he struck out this, and he's not. I mean, and I get there's ups and downs of baseball, but you know, you can get through your ups and downs if you're not a prima donna and a problem and a story off the field. I'm not saying a problem. I'm just saying more of don't be a story. Don't be the story. Let your play talk for yourself. I mean, and you know how many parents or fans have yelled at you, and like you don't yell back at them. Maybe you do, but that's a different story.
I tell, and that parents is one of my my annoyances here. I tell parents to shut up during the game. This isn't especially at the high school. I tell them to shut this. We're not back in travel ball. Yeah. It's not 9 years old. So he just needs to, at that level, you're making $1 gazillion. The guy bugging you probably makes 45 or 50K. He dropped more money than he can afford to be there to razz you. Let them have their day. Just show them how great you are.
Yeah.
And then tip your hat.
Yep. 100%.
Be like he and a half. Throw the $100 bills or the baseballs covered in hundies in the stands.
Yeah. I almost stole my first one because I got into parents a little bit. But my first one is the biggest influence in youth baseball are still the parents. The kids are watching. Like the kids are watching you. Oh. So Johnny, I don't know. Doesn't matter where it was. And I go to so there's no reason for people to figure out where it was or what teams it was. But I was a witness to a fist fight. My in-laws were a witness to a fist fight at a youth baseball game between parents because of the game going on, and one parent didn't like what another parent said, and I guess went over.
Serious?
Being 100% serious. I didn't even tell you about this. I should have told you about this before it started, and it just. Like again, that's an extreme, and I guess I know that doesn't happen every weekend, but you know what?
We borderline every weekend.
It becomes more of the like nothing surprises you anymore. I'll tell you that. Nothing will surprise you. Yeah. But like, again, if you're ranting and raving and throwing a fit about an umpire, about another team, about a call, about anything, the kids are watching you. Forget the people and the other people around you and stuff. I always go back to the eyeballs. The eyeballs are the 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, whatever. They're all watching you, and you're the parent. So stop. That's my big thing is like, that's my big thing is you're still the biggest influence. Everyone can talk about coaches, hitting coaches, pitching coaches, every coach that's available at the age of 8 or 9 years old or whatever it is, but you're still the parent and they're still watching you. So be the best influence because not everybody's going to be. That's just my little pet peeve.
I'm with you 1,000%, Maddie. You know what? There should be a rule of a 20-foot rule where parents can't sit their stupid lawn chairs. And I'm guilty because I'm retired from coaching, and you were there that day. I know you didn't want to sit. You didn't want to sit with me when we went there. You wanted to go back.
I wanted to sit with you. I just didn't want to sit on the on-deck circle like you did.
I know, but you know me. And then I'm going to if that young person's not playing the game the right way, I'm going to yell at them. Yeah. And then everybody, you hid as best you could, even though you were stuck with me. That's not going to change. If I go to a game now, not coaching, I have the right to sit wherever the heck I want. But parents, and I saw this the other day, and I love Douglas Park and I love everything about the Rocktown showdowns and all that stuff. But I saw parents, instead of sitting in the stands, they take their chairs and they move it right up to the fence.
And they put the feet up on the fence. They put the feet up on the fence, and
you're not supposed to be there talking to the players. Yeah. There's my other big pet peeve. Don't. This isn't mommy ball. This isn't daddy ball. There's a rude awakening for some Rock Island Legion kids from schools that we draw about them talking to mommies and daddies, and mommy and daddy bringing the Gatorade during the middle of the game. Not happening.
My little statement and Johnny's. See, I have a sentence. Johnny has a paragraph, and that's okay. That's the way it should be. You're next, to the best of your knowledge.
Wow. Iowa drivers. Dazzo, you know this, and I'll get back to. Let me reverse that. Mommies and daddies.
You live in Iowa. You live in Iowa.
And so
you're horrible, but you're an Iowa driver then, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm in Illinois. I'm a transplant.
Okay, and just checking.
Okay, and you know how long I've lived there. I love where I live. I'm grateful, but people in Iowa don't know how to drive. Get out of the left lane, Matt. I must have hit my horn 200 times of some dude driving 67 miles an hour. The other night I went to Cedar Rapids and did television.
Yeah.
They had to have sawn, here comes Johnny in his car. So I'm going to get in the left lane and I'm going to go 67 miles an hour, and I'm not going to let him get by me. So you can't believe this, but it really was like a nice little tap instead of hanging on the horn. But yes, you drive in the right lane, you pass in the left. Learn it.
Yes. No, I agree. And it's funny my mom is an Iowan. She grew up in Iowa. My dad was Illinois. So we always and my mom would get cranky about Iowa drivers. Like, don't be mean to Iowa drivers. But anyways, I had two here that I'm going to kind of combine together. One I'm stealing from you, but it came up again this week to me. And so I had to educate people about it. There's no such thing as first annual. It doesn't exist. In order to be annual, the definition of annual is to do something over again for the second time or third time or whatever. If you're doing something for the first time, it's inaugural. And it's great to be the inaugural. And inaugural almost kind of says hey, guess what? We got more coming. The inaugural means we're going to do this a lot. So there's no such thing as first annual. And then also, it's not I could care less. It's I couldn't care less. So if you say I could care less, that really means you could care. It's I couldn't care less is what it means. Could care less means you actually care, and there's things you care less about. So, and that was from Pat Angerer. He caught me on that several years ago. I kept saying I could care less, and he's like, "You mean you?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "The sayings you couldn't care less." And I was like, oh my gosh, after getting hit on the head by all those times, he's actually got something that makes sense.
He's spitting English at you.
Yeah. So those are my two biggest pet peeves is like, I hate first annual. And then I couldn't care less. And now I found myself like correcting my mom, and she's an amazing human being, and I shouldn't. My mom will be like, I could care less, and I'm like, no, mom, that's couldn't. So I don't want to be a jerk, but those are my two big things.
All day long, it's redundant. It's all day.
Yeah.
Ask Mark Kessler. Irregardless is things of that nature. Anything, and it's bad in radio and TV with all day long. And
all day long is a lot.
It's just all day, man. I'm sorry. You can say whatever you want. The other pet peeve, and it's back to it's a combo. Mommies and daddies that have to put up the camera for video of the little high schooler hitting. I can't wait for kids to get to college and college that films everything that you do while you're playing, and daddy thinking that he can take and go to the backstop and put up his camera, and that's not going to work. I was watching Rock Island and PV the other night, and must have seen 10 different parents walk up to the back of the backstop or hold the camera to the fence. Come on, man! You pay to do $65 an hour to break that down. Come on.
Yeah.
And it all stops at the next level. That's the one of the things. And to hear a parent, and you and I talked about this not too long ago, I hear a parent of a 9-year-old tell me that he's got a 3 or 4 pitch mix at 9. Nobody at 14 has a 4-pitch mix. Fastball, straight change. Maybe you can stick it back in the palm for an off speed. Fastball, four-seam fastball is all you need. A straight change until you are 15 years old. I have a bunch of doctors just on the hallway, doctors of PT that'll stand and back me up with understanding the strain that's put on the elbow and why Dr. Andrews is a billionaire because of the ulnar collateral nerve. So please don't, and no matter how big or cool or dude that your kid at 9 or 10 is, the world's going to catch up with him at 15. So but curveball and a excuse me, and a cutter and a straight change and a fastball at 10 years old doesn't exist. That's just asinine.
Is that your best of your knowledge? Is that your number 3?
That was my third.
Okay. My number 3 is, and it has nothing to do with sports. The best food and the best people often go together. And that includes Snoop Ramirez. I had lunch with Snoop, at Chick-fil-A. So I didn't even have his food, but I had lunch with Snoop, at Chick-fil-A, and Johnny, my culinary worlds collided. Like, I love Chick-fil-A, and then I love Snoop, and there's no better person in this world than Snoop. He's and his food is amazing, all of those kind of things. So, I just my easy one is sometimes the best food and the best people go hand in hand, and they don't get any better than in the Quad Cities than Snoop.
Yeah, Jimmy Ramirez is one of those good guys. I rank him, all those people. Remember Charlie Wise all those years when he ran Harris and then had his own restaurant. Those kind of people go hand in hand. You'll find them at the people that own your or that run your grocery store. You know what it was like in the old days. Or I had family that owned a steakhouse, and that was always good food and good people and good company. But you're right. Sometimes they go together, and when you can have that sit down, and that's strange to see our boy Snoop hanging out in Chick-fil-A.
So,
but
backstory on that, Johnny, is and again the guy Randazzo's coming up, and Snoop is the caterer, the food. You have chips and salsa on the course, all that kind of stuff. And it was just like we had freebie Chick-fil-A, some left over a couple, probably 5-6 years ago, and I always tip with what I can and some extra stuff, and if we have extra door prizes or whatever. So I said, Snoop, like, I love Chick-fil-A, and I don't think he'd even had it much or at all. And then the other day we had lunch. It was a couple Friday, maybe it was last Friday. I lost my voice. Whatever it was, 2 Fridays ago, whatever. And he we met for lunch and he's like, let's do Chick-fil-A. And I was surprised. I got there and I was like, you don't like, I thought for sure you'd want to go someplace else. He's like, you turned me on. He's like, I don't leave my house after 7:00 at night most nights, unless it's to go to Chick-fil-A. And then I will go over to Chick-fil-A. So I thought that was really cool. Last one, to the best of your knowledge. You got one more?
I want to jump. One more thing. You talk about good food and good people. That goes hand in hand with every time I have a conversation with Bill Healy Sr. And then, you know how much we love his son, Billy.
Pump the brakes on Junior. Junior's okay.
Okay, but
no,
you know how much I adore his dad.
Yeah.
And Bill Healy. I'm here and alive, and I'm not getting cornballish, alive because of Bill Healy Sr.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go into that, but he took a chance a long time ago when he didn't have to.
Sure.
Self-checkout drives me bonkers. And the dude, and you know this because you had a career while you were getting started in the business
baby.
at Hy-Vee.
Yeah.
The dude that stands, or the older lady that's pushing her cart into my back as I'm putting my items on the checkout counter for someone to ring me up so I can have a conversation with somebody, or the dude that's got like 47 things in his hands and he's Yoda backpacking me. He's like on the top of my back, standing, making sure everything's okay. That dude is, and first of all, he's got bad breath. Second of all, it's got to go. And he just had 2 beers, and he's coming to get his groceries, or she's pushing the cart in my back. And then I have had maybe batted 300 when it comes to self checkout. So not a good experience. I have to take my son with me just so I don't kill someone.
My only issue with it is there's a rule. It says like 12 items or less. I'm great with that. But it's when somebody looks, and I think it's mainly that, but like you look back and there's a person with like, you know, groceries for a family of 6, like I have, and they're going through single, and then they have, I completely would agree with it. Mine's simple. My last one's really easy, and it's kind of, but the best fast food side in the game is Culver's onion rings. Have you ever had Culver's onion rings?
And that's not part of what I right now. But yes, because every 2 weeks, you hit the nail on the head. Every 2 weeks, I allow myself either an Alfano's pizza, a cheat meal, or something during that day. And I don't care where I am, I either have chips and salsa, or I go to Culver's and get the big, not the regular order, the big order of onion rings. Oh my God. I'd shoot you for them.
That or that's one, but potato olays from Taco John's. Nobody talks about that. A hot order of potato olays is really.
That's because you're drinking late at night.
Yeah,
that's the only reason you have hot potato olays,
Johnny. I wish, but not anymore. So, well, we didn't talk much sports, but that's okay. I loved doing this. We're gonna do this again. I loved growing up and listen. And my mom would always like, "Did you see what Johnny said here or there, whatever?" So, I thought it was fun. To the best of my good friend John Mark's knowledge, if you like that, I mean, and not a lot of times we complain about everything but sports, but we'll mix some sports in every now and then as well. So, hey, Johnny, enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. I appreciate you.
Love you, Pally.
Glad
you dressed up.
Right, of course. Hey, it's Friday. I'm getting out of here soon. See you, buddy.
Love you, pal.
I'm not dressing. Hey, the days of dressing up are done for me. The ties, the makeup. Yes, makeup is the thing in TV. All that. And I always wore, and I'm not even wearing any socks, so I'm not gonna. But I'm wearing sweatpants. I wore sweatpants on TV. It was shorts or sweatpants or jeans every time I could. If I had to, I would always say, hey, will they see the pants? And if they will, then I had to wear suit pants. But 99% of the time it's shorts or sweatpants or something like that. So anyways, we'll wrap up a fun edition of OTA right after this.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. The weekend is nearly here. Memorial Day weekend is upon us. I want everyone to enjoy the weekend. Have a great weekend. Get out and enjoy the weather. The weather's supposed to be fantastic. And, Memorial Day means, the official start of summer or whatever it is. But it also means kids are out of school soon for me. I don't know if I'm ready for that. One more week next week. I think they're in most of the week. And then after that, the yelling and screaming you may hear during the show may be coming from the basement and downstairs because, four boys can be interesting and fun here during the summertime. I want to thank our guests, John Bohnenkamp, for coming on talking about Kyle Busch, also, Iowa athletics, some football, some basketball, Jack Campbell, Captain Jack, back with the Detroit Lions, signing an extension. So thank you to John Bohnenkamp. Thank you to Brad Monier. Again, the Walnut 5K run walk for ALS is coming up on July 4th. Please, if you can, sign up, get out there and partake in the event. If you can't get out there, you want to make a donation, those kind of things, head to the website. We'll get all of that up on my social media coming up right after the show as well. But thanks for Brad for coming on and also letting us talk crap about, Nick Welch and Anthony Rome and any other Western Big Six football coach I love to make fun of as well. So, and then last but not least, John Marx. I grew up listening to the best of my knowledge, not listening, but reading to the best of my knowledge. So I thought it'd be fun to bring that back on the show. So we'll do that several more times because believe it or not, we have opinions. A lot of times people think the opinions are wrong, and that's fine, but that was a lot of fun as well. It's been a fun week here on the show. If you missed any of the episodes, go back, check them out. We did not do a show on Tuesday, but this week's been a fun week. Last week's show's really fun as well. Zach Johnson was on last week. Brad Underwood, Tate Sage, so a lot of great stuff. The last couple of weeks as well. So do that over the holiday weekend and then enjoy your Memorial Day. Don't forget coming back. I don't know why it always is at the end of the show I get choked up, but at the end of don't forget on Tuesday, no show Monday. On Tuesday, Shauna Green will be with us talking Illinois women's basketball and a lot more. So a heck of a way to start next week, Tuesday, Shauna Green and so much more. So thanks again for watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. We will see you guys back here on Tuesday.